Good morning. Hi, welcome everyone. I am so excited to be presenting this class to you today because this challenge of digestive issues is so prevalent. I'm Melissa Homner, functional medicine health coach. My team and I serve individuals with autoimmune, chronic, and gastrointestinal issues. Many of our clients have acid reflux, GERD, heartburn, etc., and have been on medications of some kind or another for a very long time. What I'm going to share with you today is going to be, quite frankly, life-changing and pivotal for your health. It's also going to go against what you've been taught. So hang on and let's get started. And my computer's not wanting to keep up with me. One moment. There we go. All right, so what is acid reflux and gastroesophageal reflux disease, or GERD, right? We hear these things, these terms fly around, but sometimes it's really good to settle in and say, what is this? And get really clear. So acid reflux, also referred to as heartburn, is the result of acidic digestive juices from the stomach feeling like they're backing up into the esophagus. That is not necessarily what is actually happening, but we'll cover that later in the presentation today because I want you to really understand this. So GERD is a more advanced or chronic form of acid reflux. Did you know that between 4% and 10% of adults experience symptoms of acid reflux or GERD on a daily basis? And in Western countries, up to 30% of adults experience symptoms weekly. That's crazy, right? But I don't doubt it because almost 100% of the clients that I see every day have at least some form of this. All right? So let's take a look at what causes acid reflux and GERD. So there's quite a few things, and I've put together a nice little list for you that will hopefully make it easier. But there's a whole series of causes, everything from what you're eating, to your lifestyle, to stress, to smoking, caffeine, alcohol, to bacteria in your gut that's not supposed to be there, to food sensitivities. Any of these things can cause or trigger reflux. So here are some of the leading factors, right? Eating right before bed. When your body is wanting to slow down and get ready to go to sleep, it's not ready for food, right? Or eating too much. Sometimes we don't really pay attention to our body's natural signals that say, you know, I'm full, I'm satisfied, that's enough. Being overweight can sometimes really push up on your actual stomach, and there isn't going to be as much room for that in your actual cavity, your abdominal cavity. So that can be a driver for reflux. Chronic stress affects stomach acid production. This is a really big one, so hear me on this one. Chronic stress affects stomach acid production, making it impossible to process the food properly. This makes it feel like the food comes up instead of down. And once again, I'll explain more about how this works later on. Not producing enough stomach enzymes or digestive enzymes to break down the food and get it ready for absorption. This is really common, especially for someone who has... Hi, Jackie, welcome. Hi, Angie, welcome. This is especially common for people who are experiencing a lot of chronic stress. And if you ladies would be able to mute your microphones, that would be great. Thank you. So if you have a gallbladder and you're not producing enough bile to break down the fats and proteins in your food, this can contribute to acid reflux. Or if you have had your gallbladder removed and are not supporting your digestion with digestive enzymes and bile support, you may be experiencing significant discomfort. Loss of magnesium, which is caused by stress, and fun fact, a lot of coffee. Magnesium is needed to relax the sphincter at the bottom of your stomach that actually lets the food go down. And I want you to kind of lean into this a little bit with me, because magnesium is really needed for optimal expansion and contraction of the smooth muscles in your body. So that goes for your stomach, that goes for your sphincters, your valves in your digestive tract, that goes for your actual digestive tract. We've got muscles that work to help move the food down, right? It goes for your heart muscles. It goes for your lung muscles. All of these things are really affected by magnesium, the muscles. Other things that can contribute are food sensitivities that may not be diagnosed, including gluten and dairy, right? And some people forget to put in sugar in that category. I've had quite a few gals lately who, when they have something sweet, like a lot of times we want something sweet after dinner, right? We just want it. But when they give into that and they have something sweet, a lot of times that night they'll have nighttime acid reflux. And we found that to be a pretty common trigger. Bad bacteria or yeast growing in your actual stomach cavity. That's not supposed to be there, right? This can't happen if your stomach acid production is up to par and normal. But if that's been messed with because of stress or maybe taking drugs, different types of drugs will contribute to that. Then the ability of your body to, how can I say this really well? The ability of your body to protect you against unwanted bacteria goes way down, okay? All right. So if you have reflux, you have these symptoms. Oh, and my computer's not keeping up with me. There we go. If you have symptoms of acid reflux, what are they, right? So the biggest one that I hear about is a burning sensation in the chest, usually after eating, which may be worse at night. So it can feel like chest pain. It can feel like, oh, my heart, it can be really deep. But sometimes it's just heartburn. Sometimes we can have difficulty swallowing. Sometimes there can be a little bit of regurgitation of food or sour liquid, things that are like vinegary. Sometimes you can feel nausea. Sometimes you can feel a sensation of a lump in your throat, or almost like food is stuck in your throat, right? You can also have a lot of burping, and sometimes those burps smell terrible, right? If you have nighttime acid reflux, you might also experience chronic cough or laryngitis or new or worsening asthma. This is not something that people commonly put together, but sometimes new asthma or something that's getting worse all of a sudden can be a response to some acid reflux. Disrupted sleep, especially between the hours of 1 and 3 a.m. I see this a lot. This is when your body is trying to finish up the digestive process, right? And it's not working right. All right. So this is what we all want to know, right? What are the steps to overcoming reflux? And it's surprisingly simple. It really is. And guess who gets to do it or not do it? You do. It's all in your court. So here are a few things that I want to really lean into with you. The first one is going to be food. We're going to cover food. We're going to cover lifestyle triggers. We're going to cover routines that do not serve you, right? We're going to cover stress, what that looks like in the body. And we're kind of going to cover some supplements. But let's start with food. We all love food, right? I do anyway. So what are some foods to avoid, especially when you have acid reflux and GERD or heartburn? So the first one is spicy foods. And this is really, really important when we're going through the recovery phase, really wanting to allow the stomach lining and sometimes the esophageal lining to be able to heal. So certain hot foods can really irritate the esophagus and cause heartburn. Often this is the case when there's some inflammation and kind of rawness. It feels raw, and that's what it is, right? Or when the stomach lining is damaged or inflamed. Trans fats and high fat foods. So this is not the place to go through what are good fats and bad fats, but we need to think about that. But high fat foods in general can sometimes be a driver for the acid reflux symptoms. When this is a factor, there is an issue with stomach acid production, as well as usually, not always, but usually bile acid secretion. And that happens, your liver and your gallbladder work together to make that happen. Chocolate's a common trigger for acid reflux and heartburn. I'm sorry. Chocolate's so good. But this is something that this is something you can do, right? Keep your own food journal and write down any foods that you've eaten whenever you experience symptoms of acid reflux. And this is going to be different for every person, right? But being able to identify trigger foods makes it easier to eliminate them. And this is really, really important. The foods that trigger you are triggering an adverse response in the body, right? You're feeling it. To begin to heal the damaged tissues, the initial assault has to stop. It's not oh, I'll not have that food today because I don't want to have acid reflux. It's I'll not have that food for 3 months and allow my tissue to heal, right? It's a switch in how you look at doing without that food. Excuse me. So I want to talk about gluten and acid reflux. This is a very common thing that I see. So gluten, just to give you kind of clarity around what it is, gluten is a general name for the protein found in wheat, rye, barley, and triticale, which triticale is a cross between wheat and rye. Excuse me. Got a frog in my throat. Gluten helps food maintain its shape. It's kind of like the glue, right, that holds food together, especially things like pasta and bread. The cause of acid reflux and GERD has often been associated with a gluten allergy, intolerance, and sensitivity. Sometimes one, sometimes all three, which can lead to inflammation and leaky gut syndrome, with acid reflux and GERD likely related. Often my clients and I use a simple a simple food sensitivity test to pinpoint their actual food sensitivities more quickly, as well as testing for zonulin, which is a good indicator test for leaky gut. I have these tests in my office. It's a simple kit that I can ship to your home. You collect the blood sample using a pinprick applicator and ship it directly to the lab. So you don't have to ever have to leave your home. And I love using this test because it gives us really great information right from your body. And it's a little quicker than doing a food journal or a food elimination test. And I've found that some clients really enjoy seeing stuff in black and white, right? This is a test result. And it helps them make the choice to say, okay, I'm really going to take this food out of my diet because it's best for me, right? If you have an ulcer, or if you have had an ulcer in the past, we will want to test for H. pylori. This is a bacteria that can be present in the stomach cavity that is causing havoc on your digestive system. So one of the main things that this little guy does, this bacteria does, is that it stops your natural stomach acid production, or really makes it way less. And that opens you up to be vulnerable to things like bacteria and pathogens and things that come in on your food that normally, if you have good stomach acid, it's not going to live through that process, right? So eliminating gluten to really see the effects of what your body feels like without gluten, we need to eliminate it for 3 months hardcore at least, because it takes that long to get that out of your body and out of your tissues and out of your brain, okay? This is so much easier than it used to be. I find that making simple substitutions, like finding a gluten-free bread that you like, or a gluten-free pasta that's really delicious to you, or gluten-free flour mix, etc., is quite easy right now. And it's okay to not like, you know, it may take you a little bit to find a bread or a pasta or something else that really you like, that you enjoy the taste. So give yourself time to really try some different gluten-free options. All right. So there are some gluten-free diets that you can use if you like the structure of a diet. One of the best that I've found is the Whole30. There's really great diet plans, like food plans out there that are easy to prepare. But one of the things that I want to suggest to you is make sure it's real food, not prepackaged, because when you are using prepackaged food, a lot of times it will have additives that can trigger your acid reflux, okay? The Whole30 does really well for most people unless the digestive enzyme and bile production is impaired. If this is the case, we need to do some work before going onto a high-fat, albeit good fat diet like the Whole30. The other challenge that I see with the Whole30 is that people think of, you know, 30 days and then I'm done, right? When we need to make this a lifestyle, a way of choosing our foods that really support our body and not just for 30 days. The second kind of a diet that works really well is the paleo diet. I really like this one because it comes more naturally to me personally, a lot of the food choices. But I really love using Danielle Walker's Against All Grains recipes. You can find her online. She has a whole ton of recipes on her blog and on her website that are easy. And especially if you have a really busy life, right? And you've got kiddos to feed. She has some really great kid-friendly recipes. So starting the day right. Sometimes, especially if you have been experiencing nighttime reflux, getting a simple and easy to digest breakfast in is critical. So if you don't feel like eating something immediately in the morning, don't. Your body's not ready for it. Let your digestive system rest. And then something simple like oatmeal, or make sure it's gluten-free, but oatmeal might feel really good, or something like a protein shake that's gluten-free, dairy-free, and sugar-free. Those are easy to make, especially if you have to run out the door to work, but they're gentle on your stomach. All right. So this is something that I was excited to share this slide with you, because I'm going to give you, and if you have a pen and paper, I want you to start writing some of these things down, because I'm going to give you some really important things that you can do here. We're going to talk about eating hygiene. And you're going, what is that? I've heard of personal hygiene and dental hygiene, but not eating hygiene. But I hope by now you've gotten a sense of the importance of digestive secretions, stomach acid, and bile production. I know these things aren't sexy, but these are the most important functions in our digestive process. When we eat in a stressed state, or like at the computer finishing a meeting deadline, or in the car driving, or fighting with a spouse, our bodies are not focusing on secreting digestive juices and supporting our digestive process at all. Instead, our entire body system is focusing on supporting our state of mind and focus. We're in fight or flight mode, right? So how can we switch out of that space and give our bodies a chance to relax and focus on eating? All right, get ready to write. Take time to eat. Literally, schedule in time in your day to sit down and enjoy whatever you have prepared for yourself as far as food, right? Take time. Number 2, sit and focus on the meal. Take a moment to breathe in the smell and breathe out thankfulness for the life-giving nutrition you're about to take into your body. 3, just sip on water, enough to moisten your palate. This is time to enjoy your food and not make up for hydration that you haven't had yet in the day. So drinking a bunch of water or a beverage at a mealtime dilutes your stomach acid. This can cause slower breakdown of food, which can cause heartburn. Your stomach acid is really, really important in this process. Don't hurry. Chew your food well, really, really well. And this is something that's, especially if you've been through school and everything and you've got just, 10 minutes to wolf down your food or whatever, you get in the habit of eating quickly and not chewing well. This is not doing you any favors. So as you make chewing your food well, really well, a habit, you will discover the joy of the flavors of your food. This time becomes one of joy and gratitude. It also gives your body time to begin the digestive secretion process and helps present the digestive tract with food in the form that it can best use. Well chewed. Number 5, stop eating 3 hours before bedtime. Snacks right before sleep keep your body working overtime and doesn't set up your system for sustained, restful sleep. I can hear you now. Oh, I don't have time to do this. Yes, you do. Make time. Make it a priority. Plan your meals so they're not hurried or you're left looking in the fridge wondering what you're going to eat. Sometimes a fresh food delivery service can help with this. Especially, I've got quite a few young mothers that I'm working with right now who, this is a real struggle, and they found supplementing a couple meals in the week by ordering from a fresh food delivery service can really help lift the load for them. Acid reflux and lifestyle. I think a lot of people don't realize how much the lifestyle and how you eat and how you prepare your mind in the moment, how much impact that can have on how your body's able to break down and use food, right? The state of mind we're in when we eat. And what we choose to eat has a huge impact on whether our bodies are able to break down our food well and for us to not experience the symptoms of acid reflux. So I'm going to bust a myth right here. We've been taught that acid reflux and heartburn are a result of too much acid. That is quite, in fact, directly the opposite of the truth. When we have potent, abundant stomach acid, we're able to break down proteins, eliminate potential threats that come in with our food, such as pathogens, bacteria, and parasites. But when the front line of defense, which is our really stout stomach acid, is not present, our bodies are open to invasion. If we've developed an ulcer or inflammation in the stomach lining, medication may be necessary for a short time to address the underlying cause of the ulcer or inflammation. But it is not a long-term solution. To use PPI drugs or a proton pump inhibitor drug, long-term is an assault to your body in ways that are deep and can take a really long time to turn around. So when you're given the choice to use those, just really think about what do you feel like is best for you. So what does stress have to do with it? Whether you're feeling stress over a work deadline or maybe due to a lack of sleep or even from a life-threatening situation, the body handles stress in much the same way, no matter what the circumstance. So for some people, it's losing their keys or forgetting to let the dog out that morning, but not having time to run back home and do it, right? Or it could be a serious issue like an unexpected life stressor, an accident. Stress causes the body to draw blood away from the stomach to feed the muscles and the brain. Hormone secretions change completely to support that survival mechanism. It makes sense, right? These are the organs, body parts that need to be primed to jump into action to save you. Because digestion is not an essential function in survival, blood flow to the stomach decreases. Stomach acid is basically shut down along with all of the other digestive secretions. The bowels may loosen to, quote unquote, lighten the load, right? And you may experience diarrhea. In extreme situations, the bladder may loosen and let go. If you think like your body, though, it makes complete sense. Your body's primary job is to preserve your life. So let's play this out now. Say our bodies are set up to take this type of situation in stride very well for a moment, and then it's over. But what happens when it's never over? Or if this state of being becomes chronic? Like every day you confront a home situation that's unresolved or abusive. Maybe it's a work environment that's not supportive and sometimes abusive. What if it's a mind space habit, a thinking habit that is a result of abuse? Maybe childhood abuse that puts your body in this stress state. This is really huge, so please let this sink in. When your body is stressed, it's not thinking about digestion. It's thinking about whatever perceived threat in your mind and emotions are experiencing and getting ready for it. Low chronic stress is the main culprit that I see in my practice for acid reflux. Combine that with food choices and sleep patterns that don't serve you, and you have the perfect combination for acid reflux. As part of a full system recovery plan, I teach breathing exercises, gratitude, meditation, and basic NET rescue techniques to really help you move through those stress spaces. So let's just do a breathing exercise together, right? And as we're doing this exercise, I want you to really feel how your body is responding, okay? All right, so sit comfortably in a chair with your feet flat on the floor. Or if you want to, you can sit cross-legged on the floor with your back straight and relaxed. I want you to place your tongue right behind your top teeth. Just let it rest there. And when you breathe in, I want you to breathe in through your nose, really deep down into your belly. Just let your belly pooch out. And I'll do this with you and I'll count and tell you what to do. We're going to do this for 5 breaths. When you breathe out, make sure to breathe out through your mouth. Are you ready? All right, breathe in. Hold. Breathe out. All the way out. Breathe in. Hold. Breathe out. All the way out. Breathe in. Hold. Breathe out. All the way. Breathe in. Hold. Breathe out. One more. Breathe in. Hold. Breathe out. All the way. All right, just breathe normally. How did that feel in your body? How does your mind feel? How do your shoulders feel? I suggest doing this first thing in the morning, before lunch, before you sit down and have lunch, and before bed. And you can increase this exercise slowly until you're doing it for 3 to 5 minutes. Don't worry about your thoughts. Just focus in on your breaths. All right, so this is something that I wanted to share with you because there are so many fix-it things on the market for acid reflux and GERD, and I want to just give you some really simple, reliable ones to use. So the first one is digestive enzymes. And you can find all sorts of mixes, but when you're looking for digestive enzymes, I want you to make sure that there isn't any additives in them, right? Just look for pure, simple digestive enzymes. This can really help foods fully digest and nutrients to absorb properly. If you don't have a gallbladder, finding a digestive enzyme mix that includes bile support can be very helpful. Probiotics. I don't know how many times I see this, you know, take probiotics if you have acid reflux. Many practitioners suggest that you take them, but I do not until we have done some testing to see exactly what the environment is in your gut. And I'll tell you why. Because I work with a lot of people who have this situation, acid reflux and GERD. And some of them have like ulcers and all that kind of thing. And when we get to testing, we see that the natural, normal bacteria in the gut is way overgrown. And this doesn't happen generally unless you've taken probiotics for a long time. Our bodies produce good bacteria on their own and don't generally need help with that if your diet is really good. So I would like you to just practice some caution around probiotics. Chamomile tea. This is a really amazing, simple, delicious tea to use to help reduce inflammation in the digestive tract and to support healthy functioning. Marshmallow root tea. This one is yummy too, but it really encourages healing in the digestive tract lining. Ginger tea. This is really, really good if you're experiencing a little bit of acid reflux, to just drink a cup of ginger tea. It can help relieve some of the symptoms. Papaya leaf tea. This can really help support the enzyme production. And it's good. It just tastes really yummy. Magnesium. So magnesium, a deficiency in magnesium can sometimes be a direct trigger for heartburn symptoms. So using a good, once again, a really clean magnesium supplement can be helpful. And just a little, if you have constipation that is not having a bowel movement every day, I would suggest starting out with magnesium citrate. If you already have a good bowel movement every day, then I would suggest using something like Magmind. That would work really well for you. Oh, glutamine. This has gotten a lot of press lately, right? It really helps to heal leaky gut and benefits both ulcerative colitis and IBS. But I don't suggest using this if you have a tendency towards anxiety. If that's the case for you, I would hold off with the L-glutamine, and we need to do some investigation. We need to figure out what are the underlying triggers for your anxiety before adding in L-glutamine. Oh, you do not know how many times I hear this. Can't I just take a pill? Right? You can. But antacids are used to neutralize stomach acids, right? And we've already heard and learned how important stomach acid is. So it's not going to be breaking down your food well. And so there's not going to be lasting relief. We're not fixing a why, right? Acid blocking medications, also known as proton pump inhibitors, do inhibit stomach acid production, right? Impairing this natural process does extensive damage. As I said earlier, if there's an ulcer or a stomach lining inflammation, these meds may be necessary for a time to support healing, but not long term. I actually don't recommend using them. Finding the food triggers, adjusting how you eat and what state your body and mind are in when you eat, and using herbal remedies to combat bacteria as well as soothe and encourage healing in the stomach lining is really quick and effective, and it allows the body to really truly heal, which is the end goal, right? So here are some things that you can try today. So raw organic apple cider vinegar, and I can hear some of you smiling, those of you who are taking this course with me and you're my clients. So try 1 tablespoon of raw organic apple cider vinegar mixed in with about 8 ounces of water first thing in the morning before food. If your stomach doesn't handle this very well, begin with 1 teaspoon and you can work up. You can also sip on this with a meal to promote digestion and stomach acid production. But if your stomach lining is inflamed or if you have an ulcer, this isn't going to feel very good. And if that's the response you get from your body, then stop using it. We need to do some more investigation and fix some things before you're able to use this, right? Aloe vera is commonly used to calm an upset stomach, and it works wonderfully. This is a great supplement or natural remedy to use when you're wanting to heal the digestive tract. Inner aloe leaf gel supports digestion and is another great alternative for soothing acid reflux. But when you're starting this, I would suggest go low and slow because your body will need to adjust to it. Starting out too quickly or taking too much at once may induce loose stool. And that's not fun either. Another thing to consider incorporating into your weekly routine is bone broth, which supplies some really great amino acids, minerals, electrolytes, antioxidants, and collagen to help heal the gastrointestinal tract. So let's see, I'm trying to think of a really great place to find recipes. Dr. Axe has some really good bone broth recipes on his site. So you could go to draxe.com, I think it is. Yeah, for some really good recipes. They're actually, you can buy it in the store. Make sure you get organic, right? All right, so we've covered a ton here today, and I'm sure you have lots of questions. You may be feeling a bit overwhelmed, but I promise you, you've got this. My team and I are experts in this realm, and we're here to help. If you would like further support, go to www.sagebrushwellness.com, my website, and use the schedule button to talk with me personally. This is a 20-minute consultation that is completely free and a chance for me to really serve you. I believe that everything we've covered here today is a great starting point for you to make the necessary changes in your life to help you overcome the pain and discomfort brought on by acid reflux and GERD. Many times figuring out how to address this is confusing, right? So just schedule in with me and I'll help you figure out what the next best steps are for you. So thank you so much for being with me today. I hope this information has helped clear up some questions. If you do have questions left over though, please feel free to email me. You can email me at sagebrushwellness@gmail.com or schedule in and let's talk about those questions. Take care, guys. Have an amazing day.